It's time to get a tractor. Made a deal with a guy one town over, $75. Seems like the tractor has either a blown head gasket or a bent push rod or something. It's got engine issues, doesn't run. But yeah, I bought a Scott's tractor from him a couple months ago, and then he contacted me back, said I got another one. I said, you got it, I'm on my way. I don't know if you can see it, but here's our Craftsman LT2000. Just picked it up. Tires are covered in grass. We didn't even bother starting it because, like I said, engine issues. But I don't know if you can tell, everything's in really good shape. Seat is perfect. Deck looks nice. He said these tires are pretty much brand new. Engine looks dry. So it could be a dirty carburetor, could be a blown head gasket, something with the valves. Either way, that's not too bad. You know, nothing there is too expensive. Worst case scenario, put a new engine on this thing. So all right, we'll get it home, and maybe in a day or so you'll get to see this thing in better light.
There's no sound here, right? But not mine.
Okay, I said I'd show it to you in better light, but we got the light, but we don't have the better weather. So it's a little gross today, but here's the LT2000. I don't know if you could tell in the dark before, but it's just covered in grass. But somewhere under here is supposed to be like brand new tires. But the deck's in really nice shape. I like to paint these though, so I'll probably take that off and paint it black. And then you got the 17.5 horsepower Intech. And to me it looks nice and dry. It's definitely all gross and everything, but doesn't look like it's leaking oil. Down here by the muffler looks good. But we'll definitely try to fire it up. We'll see what it does, but I'm gonna assume that it doesn't run well. And my guess is, well, I'm gonna go with carburetor first and try to clean the carb and go from there. This looks loose, or like the engine cover isn't on well. There's a big gap there. I don't know. Anyway, in pretty good shape though. Should clean up pretty good. Alright, check this out. Wow, we got crank on this. So I bought this for $75, and it came with a battery. That seems good. Ooh, 340 cranking amps. Oh, that shouldn't be exciting, but it is kind of exciting. Alright, so we got a good battery. I guess we'll just see if it starts. That'd be a little ambitious, right? To think that it would just start right up. Got good looking gas in there. We got a good looking oil. We got a good looking air filter. Yeah, a little dirty, but I usually replace those. I know people aren't crazy about doing that, but I like to list all the new parts that I put on these things, and I think that makes my tractor stand out from others, because mine will have new parts on it. Like, you know, I'll do like all new fuel lines and fuel filter and oil filter and air filter, and you know, I'll even put new batteries, but this one probably will be fine. That sort of stuff. All right, enough talking. Let's sit on this and see if it starts up. You can watch my dad and my youngest kick a ball around the yard while I start this, or try to start this. All right, here we go. Yeah, I didn't think so. But I don't have any carb spray. I ran out, but maybe I'll do a little bit of gasoline in the carburetor. All right, let's try this again. I don't know if it's a carb issue. Seems like it's not going to spark. It's a healthy amount. That should do something. Nothing. Nothing. You know what? That's a really good battery. I don't know. It almost doesn't seem like it has spark, huh? Broken spark plug. Sure. Get another one of those. So I took the spark plug out. It's a first fire and it's broken, but the guy greased it. So anyway, we're gonna put in a champion here. This one's not real pretty, but it should work. And well, actually I'll probably just test for spark. So let's do a test for spark and then I'll thread it in the engine. All right, I got my dad on the starter. Go ahead and hit it. Shocked me, it works. Shocking. That's one way to do it. I couldn't see it, but I could feel it. All right, we got spark. Well, maybe here's why it shocked me. This is like a replacement coil, it seems, and something got butchered here. So spark plug was broken, boot is broken. Someone did some work or tried to on this. All right, let's try this again. We got a new spark plug in and we know it has spark. So maybe it'll fire. Yep. Not happy about it, but it's trying to fire. There's fuel in the fuel filter. Doesn't seem to like choke. I'm gonna do a little more gas down the carburetor. Flood it out now, maybe. Nothing now. Alright, well, kudos to the starter and to the battery, but I think what we're going to do is get this carb off. I already have my ultrasonic cleaner heating up, so we'll dunk this in, and I'll probably really get to this more tomorrow, but we'll give this carburetor a good soak and a cleaning. I'll show you this anti-backfire solenoid here. You can see that does work as I turn the key. So if you were skeptical like I was, at least that works. All right, got the carb apart, but like I said, I'm gonna bring it inside and throw it in the ultrasonic just because I don't have any can cleaner right now. So yeah, hopefully I saved this gasket. I might have some extra ones, but everything looks pretty good. Outside is extremely dirty, but let's run it through the cleaner and see what happens. Now we're down in my basement. Nothing pretty down here, but got that cooking away. These are really great. I went for as big as a size as I could get that I thought was like a reasonable price. I would definitely say go big with these because you'll use it. So, all right, I usually, so that's 29 minutes, 41 degrees Celsius. It'll go as high as 80, and you can just like keep adding time, or just when it goes through a half-hour cycle, you just send it again. So I usually have it cook for a little while, so an hour at least, and hopefully this thing is real clean, and then hopefully it runs. It's the next day, a rainy Saturday, but I got this thing in the shed, and before I put the carb back on, I was going to give this a power wash because I like to power wash these things when the carb's off. That way I can plug up this intake and not get any water in the carb or in the intake. But just looking at this coil, because remember this is a replacement coil, I don't know if you could see the size of the gap. There's a massive gap, and there's some wiggle room here, so I'm going to fix that. That could contribute to weak spark, although I mean I've seen these work impressively even with a big gap. But look at the length of this replacement coil. That is one long high tension lead. I don't want to cut it though, because I don't like doing that. I don't trust it after I cut it, so I'm going to leave it, but maybe just find a way to button that up a bit. But yeah, I'll plug off. Well, that's kind of plugged off already. Yeah, we'll cover that and then get this thing all cleaned up. It really needs it. I'll save you the pressure washer footage. Got it cleaned off. It took a while though. This thing was really filthy. That's just a rubber glove over the intake. But yeah, I mean, this deck is, I could almost leave it alone. But over here we have some pretty noticeable surface rust. So the whole silver part really isn't in great condition, especially over here on this left foot tread. But it's almost September. I think it's best, if I'm going to try to sell this season, is to keep this kind of cheap. So I could like take all the fenders off and paint the hood. I like to do that. You haven't seen that too much out of my videos yet, but I do like to restore them completely. But this one, I think I'm going to try to keep this one on the cheap side and sell it this fall. So I think we'll keep things simple. But yeah, much cleaner. Let's get that carb put on finally. All right, here we go. Pause the time lapse there for a minute. Got the carb on. I was messing around with the choke linkage. You can see there's two slots where the linkage could go in, and I had it in the most right hole there, and it was binding the choke a little bit. So I was spraying it, and I just wanted to make sure 100% that it wasn't going to stick. See? There. It's stuck. See, that's what you don't want. So I still got to mess with that. Something. This is how it goes, But that will be the time that I show it to a customer. It'll stick. Now, how many times do I got to do that where it doesn't stick? And then you'll show it to a customer and it'll start running like the choke is on, and that will be the problem. Mark my words. But I'm going to mess around with that a little bit more. Anyhow, that's not what I was going to talk to you about. I was going to talk to you about the gas tank. I'm sure some of you noticed it had like this grommet and wing nut in there covering a hole, and I noticed it, but I never poked around on it. I'm not going to use that tank. I have this auxiliary tank that I've been using anytime I need to bypass a fuel tank. So I'm just going to throw that on the machine. So let's mock up a fuel line here. We got a whole spool of new line. I'm going to put a green hose clamp on this side. Attach it to the tank first. And then we're going to put that up on the tractor. Actually, I got to flip it around. Goes like that. And the first thing we'll do is we'll cut the line and put in a fuel shutoff. I like to put the shutoffs first so that you could change the filters without having to let gas go everywhere. So I see a lot of times they're reversed, where you got the filter then the shutoff, but that doesn't make too much sense to me. So we'll do the shutoff, then the filter, and then we'll go to the carb. Alright, so we got the tank secured. We're just going to pick a spot that looks accessible on the fuel line here, and we'll cut it. I'll put on another hose clamp. We'll put on the shutoff. And then I'll run like a really short hose and then do the filter and then finish off the hose to the carb. I actually have a fuel line with a bend in it, so I might as well use it. And then I'll just get rid of the slack there, so that's nice and level. Alright, that's looking good to me. Got a bend in the line. Easy shut off, new filter. Let's pour some gas in there. Let's see if we'll start up. Got to hook up the vacuum line. No sir. Won't even pop. I'm really doubting spark again. Yeah, I just adjusted that spark plug boot. Something was off on that. Let's try this again. Alright, it's popping now. Wants to kind of run. Oh, sad. Definitely could be a valve problem here. Come on. Ooh. I have no idea how well that comes across on the GoPro audio, but that is extremely loud and the popping is like gunshots. Alright, so you know, that can happen with a dirty carburetor, but I think we could rule that out. So I think what we're left with is timing or valves is where I would go next. Not sure if head gasket would be the way to go with that, but yeah, it could be timing. So I'm going to look into the flywheel key and see if that's sheared, but just to rule that out quick, and then we'll mess around with valves. No issue with a sheared flywheel key, so that rules that out. I guess we're on to valves. I like to get the tractor elevated a bit and tipped back so the oil drains back into the engine while I do the valves. So yeah, just using the chain hoist for that. Alright, let's pop this cover off, see what we got. Too bad, it seemed like a really good seal. Oh yeah. Well, we didn't lose the push rod. Woohoo! Alright, so we had one extremely loose valve. Let's make sure everything moves the way it should. Let me change your angle. Okay, I'm just going to spin the engine. Take the spark plug boot off just to make you guys happy. Alright, good. I see both rods going up and down. That's a good sign. Yep, okay, everything seems to be good there. I think we got really lucky here, and we just need to make an adjustment. Okay, we got the valves adjusted, everything put back together except for the top of the engine, but I put on a new fan because that one was all shredded, and a new grass screen, so hopefully that will look a little better, but let's see if it starts. Help if you put the spark plug boot back on. Alright, let's try that again. Well, that runs perfectly. Awesome. Take this thing for a test ride, make sure it mows, and then we're going to take the mowing deck off. We'll get the oil changed, we'll sharpen the blades, refurbish the paint on the mowing deck, and then, you know, hopefully in the same day put it all back together. But we'll see how far we get. This thing is passing every test I'm throwing at it. I've been doing the hill here, and there's a little, here's some where I locked up the brakes coming down, and then the next pass I went up to there, started slipping, got stuck. I was able to use the brakes in reverse gear to come back down safely enough. So this thing's a hog on the hill. It's really going up the hill great. It mows. No trouble with this engine. This thing's purring like a kitten. And it cuts good. Let me just finish up a little bit and we'll get back in the shed. We'll drop the deck and change the oil. Oh, internet, you're gonna love this. The blades are upside down. I was just talking about that in one of my videos. There you go. Installed the blades upside down. Cutting with this edge. It was doing great. We got brand new blades here. These things haven't even seen any grass. It's been cutting with the wrong edge. That's hysterical. All right, we'll get that fixed too. Gonna try this new polycarbide abrasive wheel to grind down the deck. Never used that before, but this deck doesn't need too much work. Just a few surface rust issues, a little bit around the chute. Grind it down a bit, dry it off, and we'll paint it. This thing works pretty good. I mean, it takes off the paint really easy. It's probably not the best for dealing with rust, and it's kind of difficult on the deck because if you hit it on like a bolt like that, it just takes a big nick out of this stuff. So I kept hitting it on all sorts of things like here, and you know, it's doing some damage on this, but it strips off the paint, brings it down to bare metal, and it does a really good job of removing like the rust stains and things like that. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's probably better than a wire wheel, but a wire wheel you could be really aggressive with. But yeah, overall real good. I gotta dry this off, degrease it, and then paint it. So we'll see how much of that I film, but let's get after it. Okay, let's let that dry. That looks fantastic. And we got to put the blades back on this, and we have the oil changed already, so we're rocking and rolling. We're almost done with this thing. Here's the mowing deck, just taking off the last bit of masking tape. Came out great. Torched that grass deflector, and then here are the blades. Brand new with the sticker still on. I just sharpen them up. So we're going to flip this deck over, install the blades, we'll get it mounted onto the Craftsman. Sharp side down. Yeah, so this is looking great. Deck went on really easy. And what this needs is one more power wash, because, you know, when I was doing my test mowing, those grass clippings really stick to that new tread. But I'll power wash this, and then I'll shine it up, take some photos for Facebook. Should I hit some of this with some black paint? Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. But yeah, we're almost done. All right, let's get it all cleaned and polished. It's gonna look great. Another finished mower. Picked this up on Wednesday for $75. Sunday afternoon, and it's finished. This was a tractor that was sold to me with engine trouble. You know, the guy didn't know what it was. He heard that popping sound when it was trying to run, and he thought head gasket, which isn't a bad guess. But yeah, ended up being a valve issue, and I'm not actually sure what the name of it. It's when the valve's stem, the part that's threaded into the head, when that backs out. Excuse me for not knowing the name of that. I know that happens to machines, and it happened to this one on the exhaust valve. So tighten that down, and he did the valve clearances, and you heard it, just tighten it up. Parts on this, oil change, refurbished deck. Yeah, this is going to be a pretty nice posting on Facebook Marketplace, so let's get it listed. Hopefully it sells this fall. Well, thanks again for coming along as we fix that Craftsman LT2000. I'm Kyle by the Creek. Thanks again for viewing my channel. Hopefully you liked the video, subscribe to the channel. Feel free to check out my other videos. It's pretty clear to me that you guys want to see tractor videos. My lawnmower videos and motorcycle and quad videos don't get nearly as many views. But if you want to check out that content, I think it's pretty good. I'll be trying to produce as many lawn tractor videos as I can. Having a lot of fun editing and getting used to this whole process, but it's been a blast. It's been fun to watch the channel grow slowly every day. More views and likes and subscribers every day, so welcome aboard. And tune in, there'll be more coming. Thanks everyone, have a great day.